boys and girls. Welcome back to Pollution Pals. I'm Shelly.
Hello, I'm Coral.
And I'm Bubbles.
Today we're going to be learning about legacy pollutants.
What's a legacy pollutant?
Yeah, what she said.
They're pollutants that stay in the environment for a long time after they are initially released and have long half-lives.
Why do they stay in the environment for so long?
Well, because they're unnatural. They can be hard to break down and are often not soluble in water. That's why long after they're released, they still affect organismal and ecosystem health.
Where do they come from?
Urban runoff is an enormous source. So is aerial transport. Most legacy pollutants are released from agricultural pesticides through leaching. They can also be found in industrial products such as paints, plastics, and adhesives. They ultimately end up in waterways.
So what effects do all of these chemicals have?
Marine organisms can easily accumulate contaminants from the seawater, suspended particulate matter, sediments, and food. Bioaccumulation is a serious issue.
Oh, I know what that is. It's when a toxic chemical builds up in the tissues of an organism.
Good job, Coral! If an organism ingests one of these chemicals, it remains in their body for a very long time. So then, if the organism ingests that chemical once more, it now has double the concentration it began with. If they continue feeding on the pollutant, its concentration in the body will continue to increase as well.
Are bioaccumulation and biomagnification the same thing?
Nope! Biomagnification is when a toxin increases in concentration within an organism as it moves up trophic levels. So let's say a group of krill are feeding in an area highly contaminated by a pollutant. That pollutant is ingested and remains within their bodies. Now a fish comes along and eats many krill. The fish now has a higher pollutant concentration than the original krill did. Now a seal comes along and eats multiple contaminated fish. This seal now has an even higher pollutant concentration. This continues all the way up the food web and has the potential to even harm humans who consume shellfish and other marine organisms.
So you're saying it could be dangerous for me to eat mussels? Those are my favorite!
Yes, actually, bivalves can accumulate certain pollutants such as heavy metals, organochlorine pesticides, and PCBs while filter feeding.
So what types of compounds can be legacy pollutants?
Many pesticidal and industrial chemicals such as organochlorine, PCBs, POPs, and heavy metals.
Can you break it down for us?
Sure. How about we let our good friend Mr. Beaver tell us about some particularly harmful compounds called POPs.
Howdy, y'all. Let me start from the beginning. POPs. Persistent organic pollutants are polyhalogenated hydrocarbons that contain chlorine, bromine, or fluorine. They are important pesticidal compounds that are used to increase crop yields and eliminate insects. They are also industrial compounds. Because of their volatile composition, POPs are able to spread over long distances, rapidly making them a global concern.
How bad are POPs for animals and humans?
POPs have been known to cause cancer, damage to the nervous system, reproductive disorders, or disruption of the immune system in a variety of organisms. They may even be the cause of behavioral disabilities and neurological diseases.
That's terrifying. I'm glad I've learned such important information.
Well, you're about to learn more. A widely known POP is DDT, otherwise referred to as dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. DDT is an insecticide that was first used during World War II for the control of lice and mosquitoes to combat typhus and malaria. Production of DDT reached its peak during the early 1960s, but by the early 1970s, use of DDT in the U.S. declined. Its primary use was for pest control on cotton crops.
I remember reading that book Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. She talked all about this stuff. She identified that DDT was the cause of mass songbird mortalities. DDT may not be initially harmful to birds, but long-time exposure sure does cause a lot of issues.
That's because it is such a persistent molecule with very low rates of metabolism and disposition. This pesticide is very stable, and this allows it to biomagnify with increasing trophic levels in the food chain. DDT also affects the calcium metabolism in bird and mammal eggshells and causes egg thinning. This leads to higher infant mortality.
How long can it exist in the environment?
Well, It has a half-life of 3 to 7 months in tropical soils and up to 15 years in temperate soils. Can you believe that?
Does DDT affect humans?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it does. DDT causes fertility loss, leukemia, pancreatic cancer, neurodevelopmental deficits, diabetes, and breast cancer in humans.
Oh, shit! How about a big round of applause for Mr. Beaver? I think it's about time we learned about the dreadful PCBs. Mr. Ray, take it away.
Good afternoon, children. Polychlorinated biphenyls are industrial chemicals. They're typically found in hazardous wastes, cooling fluids, lubricants, and electrical transformers.
What effects can they have?
They can be very toxic and bioaccumulate in fatty tissues of living organisms. They have a wide variety of deleterious effects on both animals and humans. For example, they can cause reproductive failure in porpoises and have been found in mainly the blubber and melon, as well as the liver, kidney, lung, heart, and muscle tissue of dolphins and porpoises. They have also been known to cause immunosuppression and endocrine disruption in animals.
Are they bad for people as well?
Of course, people who ingest certain fish or shellfish may be at risk of PCB exposure. Fish have been proven to be the main source of PCB and dioxin ingestion in the Japanese diet.
Wow, they sound awful. Why are they still being added to the environment?
Well, their production and use is now banned in many countries, but a large portion of what was emitted in the environment is still present in most regions of the world. PCBs persist in sediments, and the cleanup of these sediments is extensive and costly.
Wow! Well, now let's call our old pal Debbie the Dolphin on our shell phone so she can let us know about our final legacy pollutant. Hello! Hi, Debbie. The kids here were hoping to learn about heavy metals.
Sure thing. First off, heavy metals consist of compounds such as copper, lead, mercury, and nickel.
How do heavy metals get into the environment?
Because of rapid industrialization, heavy metals are discharged into coastal and estuarine environments through rivers and anthropogenic inputs. Similarly to PCBs, sediments are sinks for heavy metals, and this is often where they accumulate in the environment.
Are they as harmful to living things as the other legacy pollutants?
Unfortunately, yes. Concentrations of lead and other metals are often elevated in fish, including those consumed by humans. Ecosystem and food chain contamination due to bioaccumulation are a growing global concern. It is so sad that so many chemicals are harming the environment.
Don't worry, boys and girls, there's hope. Many laws and regulations have been implemented to reduce pollutants and help save and protect our environment. Let's bring all of our pals back in.
Hello again. The good thing is DDT was banned by the EPA in 1972 after being used extensively in the United States in forestry and agriculture.
And the Toxic Substances Control Act of 1976 addresses and limits the use of those nasty PCBs, as well as heavy metals like lead and other chemicals.
Plus, we have the Pollution Prevention Control Act of 1990 and the Clean Water Act of 1972. These acts helped establish lists of toxic and priority pollutants to prevent any more environmental damage.
And don't forget the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants of 2001. That was an international environmental treaty created to restrict use of persistent organic pollutants.
So you see, kids, the federal government has put some laws into place to help protect this beautiful home we call Earth. And if you do your part to take care of the environment, you can help save it too. Next time on Pollution Pals, we will be discussing harmful algal blooms. See you kids next week. Goodbye!